Honeymoon tells the story of Bea and Paul, a madly in love newlywed couple venturing to a remote cabin in the woods for a romantic getaway. But once there, Bea begins to suffer from strange fits of sleepwalking and mental slips. And soon enough, Paul is left to tend to his increasingly strange bride while she does everything she can to keep him at arm's length. Unfortunately, this is about as far as the movie goes into its plot development before taking a drastic swerve that derails this already slow-moving train headed nowhere in particular. Hi, I'm Cinematico Magnifico of AmoralCrackpot.com, and welcome to the Nightly Chill. Now, the short and sweet of it is that the solid visuals and powerful chemistry between its perfectly cast leads simply isn't enough to keep Honeymoon from being yet another dull horror movie with too little going on. And it is a shame that such great on-screen chemistry is squandered on such a lackluster movie. Rose Leslie and Harry Treadaway are a delight to watch despite the sort of displays of affection that would have most people wishing they'd just get a room already. But since they have a whole cabin to themselves and we are a fly on the wall during their honeymoon, it all comes across as natural and fitting for a young couple so happily in love. Now, had there been something for them to do beyond this, perhaps Honeymoon would be worth a watch. But all we get for much of the movie is a pair of strong performances that go from charming and loving to deeply concerning, but in arguably the worst way possible. Because while you're being charmed by natural and wholly adorable pillow talk and quiet moments shared between two lovers, somewhere in the back of your mind you'll also be wishing that they'd just get to the point already. This is a movie, of course, not some creepy home video. That the movie is allowed to simply drift about from point A to point B with little care about pacing or purpose is a potential red flag signaling a production that likely started on little more than a vague idea of what it should be. Now, in all fairness, director Leigh Janiak does her best with the foundation she and co-writer Phil Graziati laid out, namely the solid character work and dialogue between Bea and Paul. But believable, interesting characters also need something to do, and in a movie, that something has to be made clear fairly early on and given focus for the next 2 hours. Unfortunately, this central driving conflict and narrative never really comes about, either at all or in a tolerable amount of time. The first act gives us plenty of time with Bea and Paul, but much of it amounts to little more than well-acted but wholly redundant lovey-dovey nonsense. The second act stretches on and on and on like it's buying time for plot development that almost never comes. And the final act is just far too reliant on a lazy, ham-fisted plot twist that might have you throwing your remote through the TV once it happens. It's forced, too little too late, and worst of all, underwhelming to the point of being insulting. Good basic storytelling requires a strong opening and finish. Otherwise, everything in the middle is free to go just about anywhere, so long as it adheres to a few basic rules. Everything we watch unfold must make sense within the logic of its own fictional world. The characters must act and speak in a manner true to themselves at that moment in time. And above all else, it must be engaging for the audience every moment possible. No wasted dialogue, no wasted motion, and certainly no wasted time. Unfortunately, you won't have realized that Honeymoon hasn't done anything but wasted dialogue, motion, and time until after you've somehow already devoted a solid 20 or 30 minutes without having realized it. Now, I am aware that this movie has its fans, but I am not, nor is it likely that I'll ever be one of them. The arguments I've read in defense of Honeymoon all seem focused on the movie's singular strong point, its two leads. And this argument is well-founded. Leslie and Treadaway deserve all the praise in the world for their work in the movie. But I've yet to come across any argument that can rationalize nearly 90 minutes of little to no plot progression, scares, or even an unsettling moment. Nearly 90 minutes of characters desperately in search of a movie that deserves them in it. A search that comes up more than just a little short. Now, if you have a solid argument in favor of Honeymoon, please let me know however you can. I'm more than willing to give this movie a second chance if my time will be well spent. But until such an argument comes my way, and I feel it holds water, Honeymoon is a no-chill. That's gonna do it for us tonight on the Nightly Chill. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and also be sure to leave me any questions, comments, suggestions for future reviews, and maybe even discuss today's movie at greater length. And as always, this video is brought to you in part by our viewers. If you'd like to learn how to support this and other projects, please visit AmoralCrackpot.com or check the description below. But until next time, y'all need to make like a tree and get out of here.